No Chaser, and today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more mental health oriented. Now, the subject I'm going to talk about absolutely is something I know that alcoholics and addicts go through, but it also is a big part of people who suffer from depression. And it's what I kind of call this loneliness and isolation paradox. And it kind of goes like this. And I don't know about you guys out there, but have you ever been in a place where you feel lonely and yet you just want to completely isolate? Like you feel lonely but you want to be alone. Like you don't want to see people, you don't want to talk to people. Like a message pops up on your phone and you just like you don't even know who it's from and you just go Jesus Christ. Like it's very strange because in this sense this thing that will seem to help you to interact with other people is something you absolutely don't want to do. Like, there's plenty of things, as I've discussed before, where there are things that you know will be good for you, but you don't want to do them. But this is almost in a different case because this is something that should at least come natural. Now, I don't mean it's just completely natural to be friendly with people and have good conversation and be awesome at interpersonal skills, but just natural to be with people or to just chat with people, make send memes, call up a friend, hang out, just spend more time with your significant other, like whatever. I mean, those aren't the same things as trying to do a new exercise regimen or like getting into meditation, yet you just don't want to do it. It's just it I know for some people they grapple with this because of kind of social anxiety, but I'm not really talking about that because like I think at the heart of this kind of paradox of feeling alone but wanting to be alone is that for especially for depressed people, loneliness isn't about the vicinity of people you're around. Loneliness is not about how much human contact or human interaction you have. Loneliness is something deeper than just simply not having. I mean, that's also a terrible situation. It's one of the situations that will actually choke me up when I've known and talked to people out there that are just they're lonely. Like they just don't. They're not as fortunate as me. They don't have people in their lives. Like they would be better if they had people in their lives. That always breaks my heart. But there is whether it's from depression, whether it's from alcohol, alcoholism and addiction, if you're still in the thick of it or if you're just struggling to get over it, it comes in that form too. This sense of loneliness where, if anything, being around people and being with people you love or friends, it exacerbates the loneliness because you're around people. It's that idea of you are in a room full of people and feel alone. And I'm not even talking about just like the social stuff you have. Like I can be in a room full of people, but they're like work people, and I definitely know why I can feel alone there. It's because most of the interactions are fake, and just they email you minion. It's Monday memes, or it's is it wine o'clock type bullshit. Like I totally like get that, but I mean I have felt like deeply alone when I had been seeing friends regularly and I was living, with my significant other. It's, waking up every morning with someone in bed, going to bed with someone every morning, and it would actually break her heart to know how lonely I felt, even though she was in my presence and we were together. She would, if she could look into my mind, she'd be like, "What the fuck? Like I'm here. How can you feel this way?" And that loneliness it's at least in my idea, it's a sense of not that there's not people to connect to. It's the sense that you're just not able to connect with people. Sometimes it can come from the sense of like I feel this way and I can't express it and people can't know about it. Or there's thoughts and these so-called irrational, I shouldn't say so-called irrational beliefs that you won't be able to connect to people, that they won't understand what you're going through. They're usually those are usually classified as irrational beliefs, but sometimes there are real situations where people don't understand, and if you express it to them, they won't understand. And I think that idea of it is not the loneliness of not being able to get along with people or have, jovial relationships or anything. It's the idea that you feel in your heart that you're just not going to be able to. That you are in such a place, whether it's a place of a defeated sadness or if it's a place of just feeling lost, feeling kind of adrift, like you don't even know who the fuck you are. It's in any of those places where you just don't feel equipped to connect with people, and so you want to be alone. You want to be isolated. Like there's so many ways that I know people, and I know people that have gone through depression. This is myself included, where it's just getting back to people or like returning calls. Like you see voicemails on your phone, and you're like, you almost have anxiety to like listen to it, and you can't even. So that voicemail, like those start filling up, and all of a sudden people can't even leave voicemails on your phone because they've been filled up, and you don't want to delete them, but you haven't listened to any of them. There's times like that where I've just, in my depression, I just don't want to be around people. Like I don't want to at all. But there's other times where I'm isolating myself like actively, and yet all I want to do is have meaningful conversations. I want to I want to feel alive and be with people. Like I have that yearning, yet at the same time I just want to be alone. That is kind of that paradox that I'm talking about. And it's difficult to understand for many people, because it's some people have the idea that it's just like, well, you think it's hard to get along with people, or you're just having you feel alone because you're having relationship problems. So you're stuck in a household with someone that you love and care about, but because of the fighting or the issues or the turmoil you have, you feel detached from them in some way. And those are things that like obviously clearly exist too. But with people with depression, or people in that in the vicious cycle of alcoholism and addiction, there is those times where you yearn for companionship. You yearn for love. You learn for authenticity of the people you're around, and yet people that you love, people that love you, people that are great friends, people that are truly authentic, strong supports will reach out to you. You want to have nothing to do with them. It's quite a contradictive hell in a sort of way. And to that, as to what sort of advice I could give is, this is gonna sound like really fucking probably annoying, because it's just not any sort of sage advice, but just try to respond. At least try to get back with them. You don't have to make any big plans, or if they're calling you and just a phone call, talking back and forth seems too difficult, text them back. Just try some modicum of getting back with people, because isolation it is just the ultimate accelerator of depression or drinking or drug using, because you have no one around you to kind of stop how you act. You have no one. You have like no one to even keep yourself up for. Like of course you get the depression beard, and you get all schlubby, and all of a sudden you've worn flip flops for like 2 months straight, which I have, but luckily I have awesome flip flops. These are my lobster flopsters. But if you isolate, you'll be alone with your thoughts too much too. You won't have any interruptions to the bad thinking and the negative self-talk or anything like that. I know this isn't like anything that will make you go, oh shit, I didn't think of that, but try to respond back. Try to tell one person. Try to tell one person what you're feeling. And I know there's a lot of trepidation with that because you're like, oh, if I tell, you know, my girlfriend or my boyfriend or husband or wife, if I tell them, then they're just going to start worrying about me now, and then that will become a thing. Or, you know, if I tell one of my friends, he may tell the others, or they may get the sense that, like, they maybe shouldn't hang out with me, or maybe there's something troubled, or maybe they just start preaching advice. Like, there's all these risks of responding back, all these things that go through your head of negative outcomes if you actually kind of express what you're feeling. But even though there's those bad outcomes that could play out, usually in your mind you're exaggerating their possibility. Like, you're exaggerating the chances that they will happen just because you're in a negative, pessimistic mind state. So just try to just, again, if it's too hard to reach out, if you have people that are talking to you, people that don't know what's going on, just respond back at least, and keep some tether to another human that hopefully you can build on and get closer and just not be in a hole by yourself. So anyway, on that jolly note, really appreciate you guys listening. Here comes the YouTube to talk. Smash the like button, fucking super, hit the bell, crack it so it looks like the Liberty Bell, subscribe. But honestly, if you get something from this and you think there are people in your life that will too, let them know about it and see what they think, or have them see what they think. Whatever. See you guys.